Test 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Test 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Test 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Good. All right.
Morning, everybody. Right after the press conference, I'm going to head to first Lawrence County, then Adams County, to look at the damage from the high wind and tornado, to see if there's anything that is needed, any unmet needs that local officials believe that we have down there. So I want to welcome everyone to the State's Emergency Operations Center. This is Ohio's nerve center when it comes to emergency planning as well as response. This is where the state agencies coordinate both with each other, but also with local agencies across the state during any kind of disasters, emergencies, any kind of major events. Monday's total solar eclipse most definitely qualifies as a major event. The last time Ohio experienced a total solar eclipse was in 1806. Edwin Tiffin was governor, the capital was in Chillicothe, and the state was only 3 years old. The next total solar eclipse in Ohio won't happen until 2099. Certainly no better place to experience the eclipse than in the birthplace of aviation. Home to Neil Armstrong, first person to set foot on the moon, John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth. It's a great place, and we imagine and anticipate a large number of people are going to come to Ohio. There are more than 500 eclipse-related events, formal events that are happening in our communities across the state. And there are more than 24 of our Ohio state parks and wildlife areas that are in or near the path of totality. Each of those state sites will have eclipse activities, and as always, Ohio state parks and wildlife areas are always free for everyone to enjoy. Because Ohio is the heart of aviation and aerospace, and because we have so much to offer, we're anticipating a lot of people to come to Ohio over the next few days. That's, of course, on top of the approximately 7.2 million Ohioans who live along the path of totality. Our local communities have been working to prepare for this influx of visitors, but there's no way around the fact that there will be incredibly heavy traffic and very large crowds. Consequently, some government services will be, let's say, stressed. But this time, I made a decision not to yet activate the Ohio National Guard. General Harris will talk a little bit about that. He has worked it out, so some training exercises are occurring this weekend, and they certainly will be prepared and will monitor the situation. And if we need the Guard to come in, we certainly will be able to do that. They are ready. I've asked General Harris, as I said, to be on standby, to activate at a moment's notice if a situation occurs where the Guard is needed to help with things like traffic congestion. I am announcing, however, that we are activating the Emergency Operations Center beginning on Sunday, running at least through Tuesday. In this room we're now in, it will be staffed by representatives from a number of state agencies. The Emergency Management Agency, of course, the Ohio Department of Transportation, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, the Ohio Department of Health, the State Fire Marshal's Office, the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services, the Ohio Department of Administrative Services, Environmental Protection Agency, and, of course, the Ohio State Highway Patrol. These agencies will be available to support local communities with whatever emergency support they might need. Teams here will monitor traffic in real time, and Director Marchbanks will tell you a little bit about that, and we'll be in regular contact with local officials. This also puts all these agencies in one place, which is the idea, so they can talk not only to local officials, but they can talk to each other. If community needs any support, those here will be the ones to call. Those here will be ready to immediately organize resources and offer other assistance. Again, this is simply a precaution, but we think it's smart to be ready. We're hoping that the planning for the eclipse will ensure that everyone has a great day. The planning included talking with states that experienced the last total eclipse in 2017, such as Kentucky and Tennessee. We wanted to learn from them what their experiences were and what, frankly, they wish maybe they had done differently. In response, we've taken specific steps to attempt to ease traffic congestion after the eclipse is over. There are also plans in place to support first responders in the most crowded communities if necessary. But we also need the cooperation of everyone traveling to the path of totality from other parts of the state and around the country. We've been encouraging everyone to plan ahead, get there early, stay late, and as EMA Director Sima says, bring your patients with you, pack your patients. One of the things that we have seen in other states and we would expect is the most crowded situation will be immediately after the eclipse is over, and then everyone wants to go home, and so that is where we expect to see the most traffic. Again, this is an event that simply, needs to be managed the best way that we can with the influx, rather dramatic influx of people that we expect. So we are prepared for that, and we certainly are monitoring that. I think the two dangers that people need to worry about particularly are traffic related. Again, people are going to have to be patient, take their time, and expect, very, very heavy traffic. I think the other one, of course, is everyone has heard the warnings about looking directly at the sun. Everyone's heard the warnings about having the right glasses. Again, that would be the second area of danger, I think, for people. So we think it's going to be a good weekend and good Monday. But again, we are ready. I'm going to introduce Sima Merick to talk. She'll be followed by Colonel Jones, Director Marchbanks, Director Mary Mertz, and then General Harris. And then we'll be happy to take questions. Sima?
Thank you, Governor. So good morning, everybody. Ohio EMA takes planning for the safety of our residents and guests very seriously. And we've been planning for this event since 2021. Seems like that was just yesterday. Planning is the first step to preparedness. And the Ohio EMA team, along with our state and local partners, have been coordinating on safety plans and trainings for the eclipse for those couple years. Our planning process is including meeting with our state agency partners, many discussions with our county emergency management agencies, coordinating with subject matter experts at NASA Glenn and Ohio State's Arnie Sletback Planetarium. And we've also been reviewing after action reports and success stories from the other states that have had total solar eclipse previously. As with any large-scale event, there are many concerns that we evaluate and discuss, but our primary concerns for this event are weather and congestion. And congestion can be both traffic and potentially large crowds. We continue to keep an open line of communication with our National Weather Service partners on the weather conditions today, leading up to the day of the event, and of course right after the event as people will be traveling. In fact, the National Weather Service will have a representative in here with us all day on Monday, helping to be in that monitoring phase and coordinating with us in unison. We've held weekly coordination meetings with our traffic partners at the Ohio State Highway Patrol and the Ohio Department of Transportation on concerns and potential needs for traffic safety in the days leading up to, during, and after the event. Our coordination with our county emergency management agencies has been critically important. We maintain consistent contact with all of them and are available to them as they see fit if they would need anything. These collaborative efforts help with our goal to enhance a safe viewing experience for Ohioans and our visitors. As the eclipse is a large-scale, real-life event, we still consider it as a pre-planned event. And I have to say, we don't always get a lot of time leading up to events, right? So having 200 years in the making has been very beneficial for us. As the governor previously mentioned, this is the State of Ohio's Operations Center. This room, along with the state's information center, will be activated for the eclipse. The activation of this operations center means that state partners and key agencies will be in here filling seats and working in unison to monitor conditions across the state and take appropriate actions to provide support should the rest of the state need that. The teams will be watching traffic cameras, weather radar, and monitoring local activities and needs through contact with the county partners. We stand ready to provide resources when and as needed. You may ask yourself, why all of the preparedness, right? The simple answer is we prepare all year long. So preparedness is kind of the same platform, you just adjust it to whatever that event or hazard or risk is. Planned or unplanned, taking precautions before a big travel day is smart. If you'll be traveling around Ohio, motorists should be sure to frequently top off their gas tanks, and to fully charge their electric vehicles. Have a preparedness kit in your car and items like paper maps, snacks, drinks, cash, and a cell phone charger. It's a good idea also to have a communications plan if you're traveling with your family or friends in case you're separated. Know where to meet up, have a place to meet up, know where to take shelter if there's an event. Having those discussions ahead of time are critically important to help thwart any type of confusion that may happen in large crowds. And while traveling, if you're taking your pets, please take stuff for them as well, right? A bowl for water, those kinds of things. And finally, know where to receive weather information. Make sure that you have your notifications turned on. Being aware and being prepared will help you enjoy this event safely. And as we always say, pack your patience and fill your tanks. Next, I'll be asking Colonel Chuck Jones to join me.
Good morning. Thank you, Executive Director Merick, and thank you, Governor DeWine, for your unwavering commitment to Ohio's safety as well as we stand together today at the Emergency Operations Center. The Ohio State Highway Patrol has a long-standing history of providing service with a purpose to positively impact the quality of life and safety throughout the state of Ohio. The upcoming total solar eclipse event is another opportunity where I know our troopers will showcase their commitment to enhancing safety and security for all residents and travelers. The patrol will provide comprehensive safety services and emergency response capabilities on our roadways. Troopers will be highly visible and ready to assist motorists in the days leading up to, during, and after the eclipse. Our increased staffing levels will aid in the effort to maintain the safest traffic patterns possible. We're also mobilizing additional resources within the division, including our aviation section, to support a heightened state of readiness and operational capacity. As has historically been the case, the patrol is ready to assist local agencies if the need would arise. I say it a lot. When we work together, it turns out better. It's going to take all of us, the collaboration within our state, county, and local law enforcement partners to help make the eclipse a safe and memorable experience for the thousands of Ohioans and visitors coming to our great state for this historic event. Governor DeWine highlighted a key message to those planning to travel within Ohio to view the eclipse, and the patrol is emphasizing three key principles for the event: planning, preparation, and as Director Merick just said, patience. When it comes to planning, our recommendation is to select your viewing location and travel routes ahead of time. Planning to arrive early at your eclipse viewing location and staying later to mitigate the stress of traveling through increased traffic can make a huge difference. We are urging motorists to refrain from stopping on the side of the roadways and exit ramps to view the eclipse. Not only is it illegal, it's extremely dangerous. Those actions also could prevent first responders and public safety vehicles from quickly responding to an emergency. As a reminder, motorists can always call pound 677 in Ohio to report unsafe or stranded drivers to the patrol. If it's an emergency, motorists should always call 911. In the spirit of preparedness, make sure you are well equipped with more than just your eclipse glasses. It is important to ensure your vehicle is well maintained with a full tank of gas and prepared items such as an emergency kit, phone charger, a paper map, and in the event cellular service is interrupted. Finally, patience is your ally during this once-in-a-lifetime event. Expect delays and adopt a patient mindset when experiencing slower speeds and increased travel times. Remember, the solar eclipse, in the heart of it all, is a rare and exciting opportunity to witness an extraordinary event. By following these safety guidelines and working together, we can make it a positive and safe experience for everyone. I now turn it over to the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation, Director Jack Marchbanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel, and thank you, Governor DeWine, for your leadership on all fronts. As the governor mentioned, we are thrilled to have so many visitors to the great state of Ohio during this once-in-a-lifetime celestial event. Team ODOT has been planning and preparing for the influx of people in traffic since 2022. We have worked closely with the Federal Highway Administration, the Ohio EMA, and of course with Director Merick, the Ohio State Highway Patrol, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, the Department of Development, and local law enforcement and emergency responders. In addition to working with our own state and local partners, as Governor DeWine mentioned, we have gained valuable information from our state colleagues in Tennessee and Kentucky and learned lessons from how they were impacted by the 2017 solar eclipse. We've taken all we've learned and developed a thorough plan of action to ensure that visitors and motorists are safe during and after the eclipse. As Governor DeWine referenced, we are going to be using our Traffic Management Center, which is open 24/7, to allow our network of cameras, 1,100 cameras, to monitor traffic in real time so we will know where traffic is flowing as we approach April 8th. A few recommendations, as has been mentioned. If you're traveling to the state, please make sure you have a travel plan. And, of course, if you have phone service disrupted, it's good to have an old-school hard copy paper map. To help with your travel through the state, make sure you go to OGO, our real-time traffic app. That's OHGO. You can even access it through your web browser at ohgo.com. You'll be able to monitor traffic flow, view live traffic cameras, road conditions, work zones, and more. ODOT is treating this once-in-a-lifetime event as a major weather event, and we're suspending work zones. If you travel through, we're suspending lane closures. Let me make sure I make that accurate. We're suspending lane closures in our work zones. If you must drive through a work zone, please think about the workers that are there. Slow down and follow the reduced speed limit. Again, here are a few tips to keep you safe while traveling. First, do not wear your eclipse glasses while driving, and do not stop on the highway to view the eclipse, as Colonel Jones pointed out. Again, we want everyone to have a safe and enjoyable experience watching the eclipse. We also want you to get back home safely and without delay. So the best thing to do, as has been mentioned, is to arrive early, stay late, and explore Ohio for another day, because I guarantee you'll find something cool and fun to do in the heart of it all. And speaking of the fun you can have in Ohio, I am going to turn it over to our Cabinet Director of Fun, Ohio's Department of Natural Resources Director, Mary Mertz.
Thank you so much, Director Marchbanks. So at the Department of Natural Resources, we are really excited about this opportunity. I mean, we are openly inviting Ohioans and people from out of state to come and visit our state parks and our wildlife areas that lie within the path of totality. And we're actively marketing 23 state parks and 5 wildlife areas, and they're listed on our website, and we would love for people to come and enjoy it. We have planned extensive programming over the entire weekend, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday. On Monday, you'll find solar watch parties and lots of great opportunities. But we know we need to be prepared for any eventuality. And so at the Department of Natural Resources, we have 300 commissioned officers, and all of them will be on duty. across the state. The vast majority will be assigned to parks and wildlife areas within that path of totality, but we will have officers in other places as well, because we know emergencies can arise everywhere. And so I'm very appreciative of the great work that I know they're going to be doing for the next 3 days. I also appreciate the Highway Patrol is helping us out. Several dozen troopers will also be positioned at our state parks to make sure we're providing the highest level of safety and security for all of our visitors. So, that assistance is greatly appreciated. We will have mobile command centers at several of our locations. We will be providing live updates all day on our website and on our Facebook pages, because we want people to know if a park reaches capacity, and if in some cases we need to close a gate or we need to respond to an emergency, we want people to know that. So all day we have a system set up where our park managers will be reporting in. We will be updating live that information. We are part of this EOC as well. We will all be communicating constantly with live updates on our website, so people know what to expect when they get out there. So I expect to spend a lot of the day on the phone with everyone across the state. We are planning to put our leadership, both our law enforcement leadership and our parks leadership and wildlife leadership, will be spread across the state from Geneva, our furthest point east, all the way down to, I will be at Houston Woods. We want to make sure people are everywhere there might be a need, and that we are nimble and ready to respond. We're worried, not only about visitor safety and security on the properties, but the traffic control afterwards. So we're ready for that. I think those are the main points I wanted to make, but we do anticipate a great day. So I want to mention 2 things. We've been talking recently about our light sound devices, where we are inviting people who have no vision or low vision to visit our park sites, where we have a device that was created by the Harvard Astrophysics department, and there will be a sound component where we think it's more inclusive. People will be able to enjoy the experience because the sound correlates with the movement of the sun. We think that's a great opportunity. We're also inviting people across the state to join us on iNaturalist, which is an app. And we are running a project out of the Division of Wildlife. You can find it on there, where we're asking people who are viewing wildlife, what are you seeing 30 minutes before the eclipse? What are you seeing or hearing during it? What are you seeing or hearing after it? There's not a lot of great data. There's a lot of anecdotes, but not a lot of great, solid data on what happens. And we think by crowdsourcing this and using new technology is an opportunity to gather that data. So we're excited, but we are prepared. Everyone will be out there. We're treating every park like it's a major fireworks event, and we're very experienced with those. So we think we're ready, and we think people have a great event. So now let me turn it over to General Harris.
Thank you, Director, and thank you, Governor, for your leadership. From the very beginning, as you heard, we've been planning this since 2021, and from the very beginning, the Governor's guidance to us was to ensure that not only Ohioans, but our guests here to Ohio had a great Ohio experience, enjoyed the Ohio hospitality, and that this experience would be one that gave us a chance to showcase many of the great things about Ohio. To that end, as you've heard, the planning by the partner agencies, by the cabinet level agencies, has been extensive and very detailed. And your National Guard has been involved in that planning from the very beginning. I have great confidence that our partner agencies are prepared for just about every contingency, and we're hopeful that the National Guard will not be needed for this response. But to that end, it's our responsibility to be prepared. So we'll have soldiers on duty this weekend. In addition to that, our Joint Operations Center will be open 24/7, as well as having a presence here in this Emergency Operations Center. Moreover, we'll also have liaisons in some of the key counties along the way, along the line of totality, so that we can continuously monitor the situation on the ground. And over the weekend, we will look at certain variables like the weather, like traffic patterns, and we will determine if and when and where it may be necessary to employ those National Guard folks through the weekend and into Monday to respond to any contingency. Again, we don't anticipate that, but consider your National Guard a hedge for preparedness. We'll have rotary wing capability as well as the ability to surge general purpose troops to support our partner agencies in any capacity that they think they may need. So we're optimistic that, as I said, our citizens and our guests will enjoy Ohio hospitality. And frankly, if they don't see the National Guard, that simply means that our partner agencies have done the fantastic job that we expect them to do. Thank you. Governor?
Thanks, General. We're happy to answer any questions. Any questions for anybody behind me? Sima, why don't we start with your team?
Okay.
And then,
Yes, sir. So for us, our staffing kind of expands around the state agencies, right? So this room will have the state agencies in it, so it expands and contracts based off of that need. Additionally, we'll have 24-hour watch through our Ohio Emergency Watch Center, Management Watch Center. And they coordinate with the Ohio State Highway Patrol and, of course, the Traffic Management Center over at ODOT. So that staffing expands and contracts from the point of monitoring in unison. I'll ask the Colonel if he wants to talk.
So from the Highway Patrol's perspective, we will have representation in the EOC here. We'll have troopers spread out across the state, and we're going to be at nearly full staffing. We've taken the extra step of pulling some of our specialty units out into the field, and they're dispersed across the state as well to also assist the troopers that we will have out there working at that time. And again, like it was said, we're going to do what we can to make the eclipse travel as safe as we can, but we're also going to be there to support our law enforcement partners across the state in whatever capacity they need as well. So staffing has been ramped up in the patrol, and we're confident that we have the resources we need to be able to assist where needed and to make travel safe.
Director Mertz, you want to tell them what your staffing situation is?
Yeah, well, so I mentioned we have 300 commissioned law enforcement officers that will be on duty, but that's just the law enforcement component of it. We brought on 150 seasonal workers early so that they would be available. And at each park, of course, we're calling for full staffing that day. So I think when you get to that, we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe around 1,000 people will be on duty. We've even, we want to do this right, so we're even drawing on our central office staff. So I think our director of fiscal operations will be on duty at Delaware State Park. I think my chief legal counsel might be at Alum Creek. We are sending people all over the state because we want people there to have a great time. But we're at least 1,000 will be the staffing over the 3 days, and probably more than that because I'm leaving out some categories. But we're pulling out all the stops and expecting everyone to put in the time to make this great.
So, Director, how's that compare with, say, the 4th of July or some major holiday when the parks are full of people?
And so the staffing would be similar, but we don't have a major 4th of July celebration at every state park, right? Like a Buckeye Lake where there's a huge fireworks display, or an Indian Lake. It'll be similar to that, and it'll be staffing levels similar to that. That's how we're preparing.
Anybody else? Questions?
Any idea how long you will keep the EOC open after the eclipse is done?
Well, as long as it's necessary. We would think it would, close out the next day, but we'll see.
Can you talk about your coordination with hospitals and what you're asking them to report to the state?
Well, look, hospitals are, one of the things we learned during the pandemic is how to do the coordination between hospitals better. We developed a system in Ohio that is still in effect, and that is that the larger hospitals help the smaller hospitals, and we coordinate that way. So if that's necessary to activate that, it's in place. It's certainly available. We do not anticipate any kind of significant casualties from this, but hospitals are certainly ready. And again, what happened during the pandemic really allowed us to set up a system, and that system is still in effect.
Specific incidents in Kentucky and Tennessee that they told you about
That's yours, Sima.
So the biggest ones were that people were, one, stopping on the roadway when the eclipse began, which we don't want. And then second was immediately following the totality period, everyone got in the car and took off at once. So there were people saying it took us 3 hours to go, it took us 9 hours to get home. So everyone got in and wanted to get back, and that created a lot of congestion. So those were the biggest things that we had seen.
Anybody else?
I have a question along those lines. So for the folks, you're urging people to kind of hang back. I mean, is there a magic period of time to hang back? Are you encouraging people to stay overnight, wait a few hours? What does that look like for people who might be?
Well, look, we can't control what people do. Obviously, people are going to do what they want to do. We just are telling them that, right after the eclipse is probably not the best time to get in your car and try to get somewhere. It will settle out over a long period of time. Some people have made plans to spend the night. Some people have booked into the state park, come in the weekend and stay another day. Some people are doing the same thing with hotels, but we also know people are going to be getting in their car right away. So we just, again, tell people this has been the experience, and don't expect right after the eclipse is over with, be able to get in your car and be able to drive at the same efficiency that you could before a normal day. Stay the state? That's that next week? The future. That's that. Who else? Well, we haven't decided yet. Fran and I were talking about this morning. At first we're thinking about going over to the Air Force Museum. They've got a full day planned, and we're trying to decide whether to go there or we may go to our son's house in Yellow Springs. We're not really sure. Still kind of debating where to be. So we'll have some grandkids with us, and we'll be somewhere outside, and it's an exciting day. So we think everybody, despite all our cautions, and this is not gloom and doom. This should be a fun day. Should be an interesting day for people, and we just think we want everybody to have a good time. That's what our goal is. Well, I think it's going to come in. They tell me, and Sima can jump in here, but we expect it to start kicking up some on Saturday, tomorrow, and then the closer you get to it, the more traffic. Again, if you look at the bookings of hotels, some people have decided to make it a kind of a long weekend. So some people are rolling in. We've also got other activities going on. Obviously, this weekend. Got a granddaughter who's going with our son-in-law, her dad, to the Final Four and women's Final Four in Cleveland. That's a pretty exciting thing. Imagine we'll see a lot of people up there for that. We've got the Guardians opening day, the same day as the eclipse. I think the game starts around 5 o'clock, so people are going to be showing up in the ballpark. I think they're going to open the gates like at 2 o'clock or something, let people in and enjoy watching the eclipse and eat their hot dog and wait for the ball game. So, sounds like a great deal to me.
That influx you just mentioned, has anybody put a number on that? Do you know how many tourists we're expecting?
I really don't. The only estimates I've seen have been so wildly ranged that I kind of hesitate to even repeat them. But anybody want to? We could tell you we had an office pool going on, but that's probably not true. Sima, you got anything on that?
Thanks, Governor. The governor is absolutely right. I mean, the numbers have been varying, right? So I think it really is going to depend on weather. So if you're thinking about Western Ohio, if that day it's cloudy, it's not too far to get to Indianapolis, right? If it's sunny. So I think those numbers will vary. So we're kind of using the planning scenarios on 100,000 to 500,000, and I know that's a big range.
As Sima indicated, I think people are going to be watching the cloud cover. You know, they're going to be watching you all, your weather people, and what they're saying about where the clouds are going to be. And, you know, if it's dramatically different in one part of the state versus another part, you know, you may see some real movement to the area where the cloud cover is not there, and they'll have a chance to get a better view. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Injuries? Were there any injuries?
I'm not aware of any,
Yeah.
Governor.
Look, again, when you get that many people on the highway, you know, that's the concern. You know, we have accidents every day. We have, you know, injuries. So you put that many more people on the highway. That's the concern. That's why we've got the patrol out there. That's why, you know, the Guard is in reserve. And, you know, you might ask, well, what would the Guard do? Well, if we needed them, they could be out there to deal with traffic. We don't anticipate that, but you know, that's the big concern. It's just moving people around safely, or allowing people to move safely is, you know, a big concern. That's why most of the planning is about. Anybody else? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.